Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Fortnite Battle Royale video. In this video, it's going to be another tips and tricks video, and this video we're going to be talking about how to win late game and how to clutch up in a duo or a squad late game. I have a couple examples here of games where I'm either left alone or different stuff like that, and I'm able to clutch the wins. I'm going to analyze the gameplay, talk about it a little bit in today's video, because I have talked a lot, like I've said in my last video before my channel, a lot about solo wins and winning late game in solo, but the strategy when you're going up against duo squads, you don't really know the numbers and how many people are in each place. It's a lot different. It's a lot harder to track players, and it relies a lot more on just pure ability to outbuild and outplay. Hope you guys will enjoy this video. We're going to analyze, go through some tips and tricks. Drop a like on this if you guys could. I would very much appreciate that. I just got to say, guys, the support has been absolutely crazy. Now let's go for 2,000 likes on this video. If we could smash that, that would be absolutely amazing. I want to give a big shout out to the notification squad, and also a huge shout out to everyone who used my support a creator, the Goblin YT, in the item shop. It's amazing how just entering that code in the item shop and buying your skins like you regularly do really does support the channel, and I appreciate everyone doing it. So thank you to you guys. Drop a like, subscribe, and let's get right into this. So basically right here you can see I'm in a scenario where I had my teammate knocked down there, but I knew there was like 3 or 4 enemies down there, so they were kind of using my teammate as bait for me to push down because they didn't want to build up to me. Maybe they don't have mats, maybe these guys aren't the best builders. So I decided to try to clutch this game up because of how many shields I had, so I stayed up to the high ground. The reason I dropped down here is because I hit that first guy with the deagle and then finish him off with the AR, and that's when it was my chance to rush, because I realized they're gonna have to go for a revive here. I jumped down, and luckily those guys weren't the smartest players. I mean, they hit me a little bit, but I'm able to use nice deagle play, which the deagle is so damn good for breaking into builds, and I like to use it in squads over the SMG, and in some scenarios, I mean, it all depends. If I'm going full on tryhard, I end up taking the P90s, but if I'm just messing around, I end up going with the deagle, and it just all depends. If I'm going for a 1v1, if I'm going for a build fight and different stuff. You can see here me thinking, what should I bring, because it's, of course, we are in the top 5, and I want to go with the best inventory possible. So you guys saw my strategy there, how in squads or duos, it's all about getting that first knock, and I do go with the P90 just because I realized at this point it was a 1v1. The whole team was eliminated, and at this point I'm like, 1v1, I just want to do the shotgun P90 spray combo, which is a lot more consistent and a lot easier to hit than the deagle shot. So that's basically what I was able to do here. In this position, I'm just looking for the next enemy. I have everything ready to go here. I dropped off for the grenade launcher. Carrying 4 weapons and minis is a great setup to have, especially when you're going into that last fight. So I was about to rift there and go look for this enemy, but this guy comes up, and this is the last guy. Of course, I know there's 2 people here. He comes up pretty fast and furious building, does a nice play to block me off with this pyramid. But the thing is, people that can build like that and are decent at building and are blocking you off, they're going to always try to take high ground from you. So I don't let him do that. The second he tries to get above me, I shoot him down, and then when the process of him falling down, I'm going up even higher. Now I realized I did damage to this player, so he's going to look to heal, and I jumped down on him unsuspectingly, able to get that kill. And that's how I was able to clutch up in that squad, just by maintaining high ground and attacking at the right moments. Here's another game where I'm playing duos with my buddy, and in this game there's 9 people left, 0 kills. I think this was just like a late night chill game, and this was another one where I get into some tough scenarios, and like I said, this is going to happen in squads and duos, and to be able to clutch these up, it is a lot about positioning, but it is pretty much comes down to, are you able to knock that first player? And once you knock that first player, the enemies get panicked. Most people are going to be on voice chat, and when you knock that first player, they don't want you to get an elim on that player. A lot of people like to thirst, so you can either thirst that kill if you want to, or you can use it as bait, and that's what I like to do, especially when I have good positioning and a good shotgun. The shotguns are amazing in Season 7. Use that as bait and sort of let them move to you, and that's what another trick or tip that I was able to do in this gameplay here. Of course, this is a duo. This is a little bit of a different scenario, but once again, I'm left alone in the top situation, and I have to try to clutch this game. So when it comes down to squads, you saw earlier, basically with squads, it's about getting that first knock, going on offense, and understanding in squads, it's a lot harder because you don't know after that first knock, is there 1 more player, or is there 2 more players, or is there 3 more players? You really don't know. And when you're getting third party in squads, it's a lot more hectic. In duos, if you knock 1 player, it's self-explanatory. There's 1 more. And in duos, it can be kind of tough because if they're a good team in duos or squads, they're just going to all rush you at once, and that's sort of how to counter a person that's left alone trying to clutch up. Here, basically, I knock his buddy, and once again, as soon as you knock the buddy, they try to rush you. This guy gets a shot in on me there. I miss my shot, and I immediately build for the high ground and for the campfire. At this point, I realize, okay, I knocked that first player, so I want to play offense. However, I'm going to take my time and heal up before I end up pushing this guy. I was going to pop that 50 pot. He ends up not going for the revive and ends up knocking me down instead. So it looked like he wanted to fight, which is usually the right move. I mean, we've all been in those scenarios where the teammates teammates yelling, "I'm knocked, you can come revive me, it's gonna be so easy," but we know in our head this is probably a bait, or this is probably not going to end too well. And usually the best idea is just to fight it out. And you can see there, basically, that guy ended up getting third-partied by those snipers on the other side. So I didn't end up having to beat that guy in the fight, but I still know there's those players to my right, and then, of course, more players left in the game. I'm able to loot up a little bit here, and I believe I don't grab the medkit because of the fact that I think I might have had another campfire, or just because the shields, too, are so damn good, which is great as well. And I had to move in because of how fast the storm was coming. So maybe I could have got off that medkit. Actually, probably thinking back to it now, I really could have got that medkit off and then used my jump pad, but it ended up being not too bad because, hey, maybe I would have been stuck in the storm when I ran into these next enemies, which is what happens right here. Basically, all I'm trying to do is secure my spot in the zone, and then my next goal is going to be to try to heal here. I have the 50 pot to heal, which is going to be the main thing, and then I also do have, of course, a campfire, which is why I didn't pop the medkit, is because it's just safe. I know I'm going into a top 4 scenario. Pop this, making sure I'm in the base, making sure I'm secured. Late game, you don't want to be popping shields out in the open, and here I'm up in a scenario where there's 3 enemies, and I'm gonna have to clutch this one. So 3 enemies means it's probably a solo and a duo. This guy starts building up on me, and he gets a shot on me there too. A couple of these times, these enemies are getting shots on me just on quick split-second shots before I build. You can see there, that's what I'm trying to do. That's how you fight off multiple enemies, and how you fight off, even if it's a single enemy, without taking too much damage, because you're gonna face multiple enemies in the future. You can see how I shotgun him, I put up the wall, shotgun him again. That is ideally how you want to win fights in this game when it comes down to shotgun fights. And at this point in the game, it becomes pretty simple because my mission is clear. 3 people left. I mean, it could be a 1v1v1, but you're going to tell right away pretty much if you're running up against a duo or against a 1v1. And it is, you have to adapt depending on it. Of course, if it's a duo, you're going to have to knock the player and then see how the other player responds. If it's a solo, and there's 3 people, you don't want to be stuck in the middle of those 2 people. I mean, you don't, even if they're a duo, of course, you want to be the one third partying if it is that. So basically, I get a good spot in the zone here, which is lucky. And I did have some jump pads too if there's need for rotation. So I quickly build up a full metal base, which is what you're going to want to do. I don't really like this as the end zone because it's kind of, you know, the trees, people landing in the trees, build fighting in the trees is not very polite. And here I have the heavy sniper, and I'm in a 1v2 scenario where I realize, okay, if I can get a knock on this player, if I can get a headshot, if I can get one of these people weak, that could be good. But both of them are peeking me with like snipers or long range weapons, and I'm like, hey, I don't want to take my chances in a 1v2 sniper fight. I'm already not the best sniper. You know, my strengths are more when I can take the enemies close range or get some nice AR shots off, and that's what I was able to do. Hurt that enemy for some shots, and because of my positioning, I realized this. I have good positioning right now, but they're going to be in the zone if they move up just a little bit, and that's why you can see I'm taking these shots, but I'm ducking down real quick right after the shots because I don't want to get hit by his buddy. As soon as I'm able to hit that player for white damage, I'm thinking about rushing, but of course, once I end up knocking the player, I'm definitely immediately jump padding, as you guys can see, and you can see this guy obviously wasn't the smartest. I, you know, kind of messed with him a little bit. You're actually remembering this gameplay. I stare at him for a little bit when I could have shot, just because this was a guy, you could tell from his mindset, he was going to go for the revive instead of going for the kill, which could kind of work sometimes. But if you guys saw my gameplay yesterday, you saw where at the end I ended up, you know, going for the solo clutch, which is usually the way you want to do it, because I mean, when players are knocked and everything, it's just a lot easier with the bait. Here's another scenario where this was a squads, and this was with me and my buddy Slick, so it wasn't a 1v4 scenario, but this is another one where it came down to late game, and in squads, it's always a struggle for shields and different things like that. And the noob tube, the grenade launcher, there's certain weapons that are good for taking on multiple enemies. A sniper is good because if you can get that first knock a lot easier. A grapple gun is good, so you can just outbuild all 4 of them and just take the high, or all, yeah, 4 of them, I guess, take the high ground. And other items that are good are probably not the I mean, the RPG is good, but I really like the grenade launcher, the noob tube, and the quad launcher, just because the pressure they can get against squads. I really think that, you know, the gameplay is a little bit different in those modes, and you can see here, of course, we're able to win that first fight. And with this grenade launcher, when you have 2 people alive late game, it's a lot easier. You still want to play it safe, but when you're in a solo clutch mode, you're just going to be, basically, your teammates are going to be shouting, they're going to be telling you what to do, but stick to your gumption, go with what you know, and basically just try to, you know, play the best you can. Always know when it's time for offense and defense, and in a solo game, it's time for offense when you just get a little bit of damage in. In a squad, it's not the same, because sure, oh my god, I hit one of them for 100, there's still 3 more that could be 200, and you can be in trouble if you rush or get too aggressive. So that's something that's a little bit, you know, rush on knocks instead of damage, especially if you're in a outnumbered fight, is one thing that I would say. But, you know, a lot of stuff does transition over, and building and making sure you are able to just shut down people when you build fight, because usually if there's 4 people in a squad, they're not all going to be the fastest builders. If you can beat, there's probably going to be 1 or 2 builders from my experience that are pretty good. You beat those 2 guys to the top, you're able to get one knock on the first one. The second tryhard's probably going to rush up there, and then the other 2 players are usually you don't run. If you run into a squad of 4 good players, they're going to all rush you at once, and there's pretty much nothing you can do. All you can do is try your best, try to block them with builds, but 4 people spraying at you will pretty much easily win fights. That's why you'll see a lot of these streamers or really good players who play solo squads or solo duos, not just clutching up wins at the end, but going completely into the game, solo duo or solo squads. They will win a lot and take out a lot of teams, but if it's a team of 4 full-on tryhards, it has to be a miraculous play to win those. Hope you guys did enjoy. Smack a like this thing, subscribe if you guys are new. Use my code, TheGoblinYT, in the item shop, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.